Graph the following piecewise function. So they give you a piecewise function and they wanted to graph it. There are three components, three different functions where the domain varies. So let's go start with the first one. On the first one they tell you that for this function this absolute value applies only when the x value is less than -2. So my x is -2 here, and that will apply when x is less than -2. I'm just going to keep that part of the graph. This is an absolute value, so ZV. My vertex for this is -3 and -2. My h is the opposite, the k stays the same. So -3 and -2 is here. My slope is negative, so I'm going to go down to the right and I'm going to reflect it. Down to the right and I'm going to reflect it. Down to the right and I'm going to reflect it. Now remember that you only need to keep the graph where x is -2, so only from here to the left. So I'm going to keep this little section here, and this one continues all the way to infinity. And in this case it's less than, not equal to, so this has to be opened, not closed. For the second function we have x squared plus 2, that's a parabola, and this function only applies when x is greater than -2 and x is less than 1. So when the x is between 1 and -2, or -2 and 1. So from -2 all the way up to 1 is going to be the second part. This is a quadratic equation, so it's a parabola. It's on vertex form, so your vertex is 0, 2, 0, +2. And now I can make a quick table to find other values. I'm going to plug in values for x, and that gives me values for y. I'm going to plug in a 1. If I plug in a 1, it gives me 1 squared is 1, plus 2 gives me 3. So 1 and 3. And I'm going to reflect it. I'm going to plug in a 2. If I plug in a 2, it gives me 4 plus 2 is 6. 2 is 2, 4, 6, and I'm going to reflect it. Now remember that you're only keeping this part of the graph, this section and that section right there. So therefore it will be just this part. And notice that they both are open as well. It's only closed whenever you have an equal sign, just like on the last one. For the third component, it only applies when x is greater than or equal to 1. So you'll apply everything to the right. You have y is equal to x. Remember, f of x is equal to just your y. It stands for the y. Y is equal to x. What type of line is that? That's a diagonal. That means that if you plug in a 1, you get 1. If you plug in a 2, gives you a 2. Plug in a 3, gives you a 3. Plug in a 0, gives you a 0, and so on. Plug in a 4, plug in a 5, plug in a 6. And I'm only going to keep, ideally it should be a full line diagonal, but in this case I'm only going to keep the values from 1 all the way to infinity, anything greater than 1. And that's going to be closed. So just make sure that you mark whether it's open or closed clearly so you get your full points. And that is what we call a piecewise function. You just get pieces of each graph.